Okay, so let's just jump right in. We usually think of exercise as this thing we have to do for our bodies, right? Kind of like a chore. But what if I told you that moving your body is actually one of the fastest ways to upgrade your brain, crush stress, and get this, actually make your life easier? Let's get into it.
Does this feel familiar at all? Trying to juggle school, your social life, and thinking about the future. It can feel like you're constantly drained. Trust me, you are not alone in feeling this way. That pressure is 100% real.
In fact, let's just call it what it is, a daily pressure cooker. Every single day seems to bring a whole new set of challenges that can feel, well, pretty overwhelming.
And I'm guessing this list looks pretty familiar, huh? You got intense pressure from exams, that social anxiety that just creeps in, and let's be real, who is actually getting enough sleep? Then you pile on worries about the future and a phone that is buzzing nonstop. Yeah, it is a lot to handle.
So, what's the escape hatch? How do you break out of that cycle? Well, this brings us to the big idea for today. I want you to start thinking of movement as your own personal reset button.
I know, this sounds totally backwards, right? When you're mentally exhausted, literally the last thing you feel like doing is getting up and moving. But here's the key takeaway. Getting physical is one of the single most effective ways to clear your head and totally recharge your brain.
And this is the classic mental battle, isn't it? Your brain screams at you, I'm just too tired. But the long-term payoff is actually more energy. It'll tell you, I seriously have no time for this. But the activity gives you better focus, which, ironically, saves you time in the long run. And that feeling that it's just more work, that gets replaced by a genuinely better mood. You just have to win that first little argument with yourself. Because what we're really talking about here is a legitimate brain boost. This isn't just about feeling a little bit better. We're talking about literally upgrading your mental hardware. Okay, so check this out. The moment you start moving, something incredible happens inside your brain. You are physically interrupting those nasty stress cycles that keep you feeling anxious and overwhelmed. It's like you're hitting the pause button on all that worry, telling your body to dial down stress hormones like cortisol, and giving your mind a chance to finally breathe. And a huge part of this is about supporting your executive functioning. Now, that sounds like a super technical term, but just think of it as your brain's CEO. It's the part that handles planning your homework, focusing in class, and just juggling everything on your to-do list. When you're active, you're pretty much sending your brain's CEO to the gym to get stronger. And the results are real, tangible upgrades for your brain. We're talking about being way more productive when you finally sit down to study, actually remembering what you read for once, and having a sharper focus and memory overall. These aren't just little tweaks. These are total game changers for how you perform in school.
And here's the cool science behind why it feels so good. So, endorphins. Think of them as your brain's own natural feel-good chemicals. They're literally designed to fight stress. At the exact same time, you're pumping more oxygen-rich blood to your brain, which is like a fresh fuel delivery that helps clear out all that mental fog. That combo, it is the perfect recipe for feeling calmer, happier, and just more ready to handle whatever comes your way.
You know, the more you stick with it, the more you build up what experts call psychological resilience. And what that really means is you'll feel less anxiety, you'll get much better sleep, and you'll find it easier to manage your emotions instead of letting them manage you. So you're not just putting out a fire today, you're building a stronger foundation for your long-term mental health. But hey, the benefits don't just stop inside your own head. Being active can be an amazing way to upgrade your social life too. I mean, just think about it. When you're kicking a ball around with friends, going for a hike, or joining some kind of team, you're not just exercising. You're building connections, you're making memories, and you're all reinforcing positive habits together. It is such a massive win-win. Okay, so we have totally covered the why. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. How do you actually build this into your life, into your identity? This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you go from knowing this stuff is a good idea to, actually doing it, especially when you feel like you're already maxed out? Let's break it down into 4 really simple steps. First, find your why. Is it to focus better for that big exam, to feel less anxious before you hang out with people? Connect it to a real personal goal. Second, schedule it. Seriously, put it in your calendar. Don't wait to feel inspired. Plan for short, strategic movement breaks. Third, and this is huge, start small. A 10-minute walk is way better than doing nothing. Consistency will always beat intensity. And finally, make it you. If you hate running, please don't run. dance, skate, hike, do something you actually think is fun. Because that's really all it takes. A little bit of structure is the secret sauce that turns a good intention into a habit that actually sticks. A tiny bit of planning is what sets you up for long-term success.
And after a while, something really amazing starts to happen. It stops being this thing you do, and it starts becoming a part of who you are. Just like the quote says, sustained activity becomes part of your identity. You're not just a person who exercises anymore, you're an active person. It's just what you do.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. This whole thing, it's not really about just managing stress. It's about building real strength, real focus, and real resilience. The bigger question is, once you have that power, what will you choose to build with it?